Mike's Daily Podcast.
At Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valentino, it's Mike's Daily Podcast. It's episode 2637. And where have you been? I was here all this time, but you went and did some fun things, and then you came back. Thanks for listening to this show with a guy named Mike Matthews. And a little bit later on, we'll go back. Mike's Daily Podcast. With the segment Let's Go Back with Matthews. But if you are listening to this on the 9th Mike's of July Daily, which you probably aren't, podcast. But if you are, yeah, and you have dimples, today is your day, because it is National Dimples Day, my friend. I don't have them, but it's a thing, and some people got it. Just that little bit of extra skin or that, caves in on itself in the cheeks. They're dimples. So cute. So everything in life that is different, we should just give a cute name and everything will be fine. Because we all love dimples, so that's an idea. National Pina Colada Day, because if you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, then you would like today. It's also National Kitten Day. I had a podcast picture featuring a cat in the last one. Kittens are amazing. The cat I have, the other one I have, I've got two, is only about a year old, so he's still a kitten, basically. And he does some ninja moves, flies around, parkour, does everything around the house. It's crazy to watch Rocky run. Last picture, though, had patches. He is feral, and he now is very friendly and hangs out. Was hanging out with us today, just like, hey, I'm a domesticated cat. What's the problem?
And here's today's podcast picture.
Well, that's all I have for that part of the show. Interesting thing.
Mike, it's
of the day of which it is today.
Mikey Fikey. Great.
So NVIDIA did really well with the whole AI thing. And now the stock is starting to act a little weird. It dipped recently on reports that the U.S. is considering... Oh! I said dip, and he probably thought I meant a delicious pastrami dip sandwich. The late, great Basil, the boxer there. I saw a boxer yesterday when I was in Where was I? No, it wasn't a San. It was Concord. There might have been some sand somewhere, but no, it was Concord is where I was. And there was an interesting little place that I went to that had a band playing, a blues band, that actually had a trumpet player, and hanging out. Oh, and of course, it's a craft brewery place. So there are all these people hanging out outside with their craft brews. And dogs. Lots of dogs show up. A lot of beer drinkers also enjoy the company of the favorite friend, the furry friend, the dog. And there was a boxer there, and named Aurora, after one of the Disney princesses. So I got to meet Aurora. What a wonderful dog she was. But yes, it was one of those days where Mike got on a BART and said, I'm going to go all the way to Antioch, just for the heck of it. Oh, and by the way, I'm on vacation now. Yeah, so everybody at work is shaking in their boots. Oh, and that's fun. There's like a big old audit happening at my company now about everybody that's doing overtime. And it doesn't matter how much overtime they work. If they went over a little bit, everyone's getting audited and the questions running around. The big old letter Y. Why is this a person working overtime? What's going on in this department? We can't have any overtime anymore. Which leads me to think next my company will be banning all sick days. Oop. Don't try that in California.
That's a nightmare of a show.
California's got a lot of problems. Our gas is too expensive. There's too many little fees and things we do with our gas. It's ridiculous that we pay for. Our taxes are way too high because of all the little things they add and fees that we pay for. But heck, You try and mess with our jobs and do stupid little things like take away our sick days. Oh, you're in for it now, buddy.
Fair and unbalanced.
What?
Baloney.
But I hate when the companies get all nitpicky, because now that means other things are wrong. They're not watching the ball, they're watching all this other stuff happening. And yeah, okay. It's pretty obvious when someone's working overtime too much, you should clamp down and figure out what's going on. But it seemed like the ultimatum of no overtime at all, that's just not realistic. Some people are just going to work overtime. It happens.
It's Bison Bentley's. Do you know that?
Hey, this is Bison Bentley, and Mike Matthews has a couple of stories that'll make you want to ask yourself, do you know that? But the thing is that in California, despite some of the rights that we have as employees, it is pretty sad when you're riding on BART and you look down and all along where the BART tracks are, well, in parts of Oakland, the BART is raised up. It's up almost like a monorail. It's raised up above the neighborhoods. And you look down, and there on the streets are so many campers and RVs that are all dilapidated, and cars, and people are putting tarps on top of the campers. Because with all the rain we had this past winter, I'm sure a lot of them leaked. So they put the tarps up there to prevent that. And then people got creative with the tarps and would just pull the tarp over, and it would become basically a tent. They're using them as tents over the cars. And, well, it's not just that. It's also they're using plywood. I saw so much plywood being used with tarps, these little cities everywhere. And there'll be these streets where people have just decided, this is my parcel of land. I'm going to park here and live here. And other parts of Oakland, I noticed, this is all I'm noticing from the BART, by the way. I look down and there are some streets where they've said, nope, you ain't going to do that here. And they put these huge, 2,000-ton big old concrete blocks that no one can move. Maybe some kind of bulldozer put it there. I don't know. As we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valentino, the last place on earth. And they put those there so people can't park. So they're all along the street where you'd usually be able to park. And they put them at lengths of a car so no car can get into that zone. They basically put all these concrete posts everywhere, concrete blocks. And I haven't ridden BART. I guess I haven't ridden BART in the daytime or haven't looked down along where the BART route is. And I have not seen these sites before, but it's definitely something that is new. I used to take BART quite a bit, and I would see this. I would have noticed, but now it must have just happened within the past couple of years. It's bad. That's the downside of California. We still haven't been able to figure out a way to fix that issue, aside from the big old huge concrete blocks. Wow. But the fact is, it's a lot of haves and have-nots. There is so much prosperity in the Bay Area. There are beautiful mansions up on the hills in the Oakland Hills. But then down below on the flatlands is where we see all kinds of poverty. So, I don't know the answer. I'm not running for office. I am not someone who explores and studies the solutions to these issues, but I welcome you to come up with one. So NVIDIA, meanwhile, one of these companies that has had extreme amounts of good fortune lately because of their ties to AI, they're now starting to dip on the report that the U.S. is considering new AI chips, that the AI chips be banned, that there are AI chip export restrictions from the country of China, and that will cut into NVIDIA if they can't import those AI chips. And now, obesity is a common and serious, costly disease. 41.9% in the U.S. That is basically more than 2 in 5 adults are obese.
Wine.
Well, I like
The whiny white man wine list.
BMI index, how that's ridiculous, and that is what the majority of doctors use to determine if someone is obese, but it is becoming more and more disproven as a way to find out if people are obese. It's just sort of this old, grandfathered in way that people find out. But it is also a very difficult measurement. It makes it too difficult to ever get out. Some people cannot get a good BMI score no matter what they do, is basically what's happening. And it has been said by experts that it is in some ways discriminatory against certain races and cultures and certain sizes that are just you can't get to the certain size that the BMI wants you to be. I hate the BMI, but it is one way we use in which to determine if someone is obese or not. So if that is actually what we are basing this 2 in 5 adults as 41.9% of the obesity in the U.S. is how that number is arrived at. But obesity-related conditions include heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, that's a big one, and certain types of cancer. These are among the leading causes of preventable premature death, and the estimated annual medical cost of obesity in the U.S. is around $173 billion. Medical costs for adults who had obesity were $1,861 higher than medical costs for people with a healthy weight. A new class of obesity medications has shifted focus away from the injectables already on the market and toward the pills that could follow in the next few years. The injectable Mounjaro, is that how you pronounce that, has already been has made Eli Lilly the most valuable pharmaceutical company in the world. It has a market value of over $425 billion. The weight loss pill field is going to be from Eli Lilly and also Novo Nordisk. The hope is the obesity pills could offer much of the efficacy of the new injectables, but with none of the unpleasant needles and at a lower price. Patients will need to be on the drugs over the long term to maintain their benefit, however. Overweight patients tend to lose 14.7% of their weight after 36 weeks in using these drugs.
MTV News. You hear it first.
This is interesting.
Wow, this is interesting.
We love you, Mike.
Google has distanced itself from a planned drag show after a few hundred employees signed a petition opposing the Pride event, claiming it sexualizes and disrespects Christian co-workers. That going on at Google.
Live and loco. This is interesting.
Wow, this is interesting.
Ain't life grand?
Outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcaster Valley, the last place on earth. Look who is here. Hello, Michael Mass, it's Madame Rootabega, and I love hearing all about those big concrete blocks. Ooh. Wow, can you lift them? Yes. And do you get your super strength from eating spinach? Yes. Are you Popeye? No. Oh, Madame Rootabega, I learned so much about you. So you just have this natural strength that you have. Yes, it comes from my magic. Magic. Wow. Okay, Madame Rootabega's magic. She's just like a Harry Potter character or something. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And it's a Bison Bentley.
Mike, I wanted to wish you a happy pina colada day.
Yeah, we like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. Oh, excellent. Yes, I haven't had a pina colada in a while. I just have this root beer that I did not get from the brewmaster. Don't tell him. He'll be quite upset, but yes.
And now we return you to our regularly scheduled program with Mike Matthews.
I want to go back in time with you in this wonderful segment called Let's Go Back with Matthews.
Let's go back with Matthews.
Oh, Mike, you're such a creative soul.
All right.
My lovely lady friend, she ran a class. It was her first class she ever ran. A class. A special type of class. It was a yoga class. And it was volunteer because she's just gotten like her degree, basically. And this is one of the things she needs to do is a volunteer class. And I did it because I wanted to show my support. And some things that I learned was I have no flexibility whatsoever. I cannot stretch for the life of me. That thing they do at the end of yoga classes where they want you to just relax, that's just basically telling me, Mike, go sleep. Go to sleep, Mike. Sleep time. Yes, you're back in kindergarten. Get the blankets out. Next, we're going to eat graham crackers and milk. But yes, I really was about to fall asleep. But she did a great job. The people in the class were really supportive. And I am not flexible. I need to really stretch more, I guess is my point. But, you know, you got to be careful when you stretch. You don't want to stretch a cold muscle. That thing they used to tell you back in PE class. Yeah. But she did really good. I guess it, and for her, it was a whole, hey, my lovely lady friend was, it's like when you're going to do a play for the first time. Opening night jitters. She had a lot of that and this nervous energy all week. But once you do it, it's amazing. You learn a lot. You learn a lot for next time. You calm the nervousness for the next time. And I think she'll be great. The next one she's doing, I think, is sometime next month. So, yes, that's what I did yesterday, as well as traveling all over the Bay Area. Here's something I learned that I'd like to share with you about riding on BART. And the podcast picture, by the way, was taken from BART as I was heading back away from Concord heading over to Podcastro Valley. But I think this was on, is that Highway 40 or 20? I forget which highway it is that's next to the BART. But there was this car, it looked really cool, it was zooming along, and one of the few times you'll actually be able to take a picture of any of the freeways in the Bay Area and only get a picture of one car. Usually if you point your camera at any of the freeways around here and you take a picture, you'll get at least 20 pictures in the frame. Because cars are just zooming, so many cars all at once, and there's usually traffic. But this guy was flying along, he was by himself, and it was a cool shot. I took a picture of it. See it at mikesdailypodcast.com. So that, and along with riding back from Concord and realizing that there is just, I guess it's never going to go away, but there is always going to be that horrible stink of marijuana in every single BART car. It's either being made by somebody in the car at that moment, or it was just moments before you walked in. It is always there. They really need to put some kind of deodorant in those cars because it just smells terrible. Ugh. Hate it. Just every car you get into on BART. And at some point, you will meet someone that you are going to say, wow, didn't expect to see that today. But you must always expect the unexpected when you ride BART. And they still want more money. They still want more money. Oh, we need money. We need money, Gavin. And Gavin Newsom said, no, you get the money that was already being put in, but you're not going to get any more from me. It's just so badly run. I hate Bart so much. Okay. Oh, where were we? Yes, let's go back with Matthews. So, here we go. We're going back to a time when radio was really awesome and cool, and people did crazy things like the stuff I used to do on a show called the Hey Santa Fe Cafe when I worked in Ventura County, California. And here's one little interesting thing that happened back then. This was when people used to call into radio stations, too. That's pretty interesting. They don't do that so much anymore. Depends on the radio station, but as a whole, people don't really call into radio stations. But here's a little bit of this was 20 years ago.
Tillis's latest CD, where she is actually remaking the hits of her dad, Mel Tillis. It's called Tillis Sings Tillis, or actually it's called It's All Relative, but you can win it right now on this Tillis Sings Tillis weekend, 650-KHY.
In today's world, there are many different car companies.
Our contestant is Tubby from Tio. Tubby, let's look at the quiz wall and pick a topic from our three panels. Panel 1 says Tommy Shane Steiner's Little Shiner. Panel 2 says the Oak Ridge Boys Toys. Panel 3 says Reba's Amoeba.
How about panel 3?
Reba's Amoeba. Tubby, when Reba's Greatest Hits 3 CD came out, it was her first album since 1995 to debut at number 1 on the charts. The name of that album was A Starting Over. This is the album from 1995, right? From 1995, the CD that last debuted at number 1. Was it A, Starting Over, B, Forever Love, or C, Read My Mind?
Starting Over.
In 1995.
No,
I'm going to say number 2.
Forever Love?
Yeah.
Oh. No, it's Read My Mind, I bet.
Stay on the line, Tubby. 650-KHY can try and steal the prize from Tubby, but if you get it wrong, she gets the prize.
Toddy Chevrolet is truck country. Join us.
Ariane from Camarillo going to try and steal the prize from Tubby in Thousand Oaks. Ariane, the choices were Starting Over, Forever Love, or Read My Mind. Ariane?
Live radio, everyone.
Hello? Well, she had told me it was Read My Mind. That was actually wrong as well. The answer is Starting Over by default. That means you get the prize.
Oh, that's definitely cool.
Starting Over was the name of the album. You get the prize by default, Tubby.
Oh, good. I have Reba's autograph.
Oh, my gosh. Can I see it sometime?
Oh, yeah. I'll show it to you.
Miller Lite, Miller Time. Track.
What? She had Reba's autograph.
100.7 KHAY and George Strait. We heard just ahead of that Sarah Evans with I Keep Looking. Travis Tritt coming up. Dixie Chicks. Hattie Lovelace. Tracy Bird is next. Get the latest concert updates on the web at KHAY.com. Oh, you're finally here, John Deere, the engineer.
What seems to be the problem?
Well, for one thing, it is hotter than it's hot as hot in here. And can you fix the air conditioning?
Yeah, man, I can fix it. I can cool it down for you right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you doing with that hose? I'm wet now, but much cooler. Thank you. You're a genius. Come back here. I want to hug you, John Deere, the engineer. Oh, my gosh. You know, sir, make sure to go out on a date this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, I will.
Good. Labor Day honors the hard workers of Ventura County and America. If you raise a toast...
Oh, hey, there's me doing a commercial.
Driver, a message from Team...
Well, there you go.
Ventura County's fastest growing provider of ready-mix concrete.
This weekend, the biggest new and used car sale of the...
Just Let Me Be in Love?
Yeah, that must be it.
With a nice little Spanish flamenco guitar.
Yes, I like the guitar work in it. That's the thing that fascinated me with the song. I really like it.
It fascinated me, too.
Are you a guitar player?
No, I just play the keyboard.
Oh, I think I talked to you before, and you were going to send a tape.
Oh. 650 KJY.
Oh, I didn't know what that was.
Ventura County's number one winning station is 100.7 KJY. Patty Loveless there, Tracy Bird ahead of Patty. Travis Tritt is next. The K-Hit Cat Big question. What is the craziest Friday that you ever had? Oh! Fernando Tony Lamas.
Matthew, darling, I want to tell you, marvelous, darling. I want to tell you the craziest Friday that I ever had. This is absolutely true. I'm saying it to you from my mouth, from deep inside my body, my heart, darling, which is deep inside my, you understand.
Okay.
Matthew, darling, what happened was I had over a bunch of people, nobody famous, just a young Sean Cassidy, a young Henry Winkler, when he was the Fonzie man.
Ah.
Matthew was crazy or nuts. We all were over at my house, along, I believe, with a very young Bob Barker. He was there too, Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
Loved him. Anyway, I ran out of dip, darling.
Oh no, he ran out of tape too. That's it. Well, he ran out of dip. And that was on the radio back 20 years ago. If we go back a little bit further to like about 30 years ago in Santa Barbara, I was playing the 80s music.
Clock with Mike Matthews. Nobody plays more music. 197.
Playing Eddie Money and The Light in Your Eyes. Let's see.
Bon Jovi. That's tonight at 8 o'clock, less than an hour. And at 9 o'clock, Radio Candy. That's on the all-new 197. Here's the latest from Def Leppard and Rocket. The all-new 197 and Epic Records present a cheap date with Cheap Trick. Right now, be my 19th caller at 965-9797. Tell me the worst cheap date you ever had. And I'll qualify you for a trip to the Universal Amphitheater in LA, and you'll pick up the latest from Cheap Trick, Lap of Luxury. It's from the all-new 197.
Was that Vixen? Rick Astley. I want the Cheap Trick tickets.
The all-new 197, Santa Barbara's only hit music station at 97.5 KHTY.
Oh, and Bon Jovi there. I guess we didn't find out who won the Cheap Trick tickets, but that must have been cool. So there you go. A little bit of radio from way back then. Probably not my best work, but you know, we had fun, and the listeners called in back then and won tickets to Cheap Trick. Now, I don't know if... I know there are some YouTube channels that try to do contests. I don't know how successful they are. I'm hearing they are. So, in some ways, the old-timey radio, where people would call in, that's been replaced now with social media and YouTube and all of that. So, it's amazing how it will morph into something completely different from year to year to year. And in another decade, another 2, 3 decades, we'll see where we're at. It'll probably just all be embedded in our brains. And nobody will need to talk into a microphone or look nice for a camera, video camera. And it will eventually just get worse and worse and worse. Or better. But the way it's looking now, it looks worse and worse. Until then... hopefully you'll keep tuning in and turning your podcast player on for this show and catch the next one that we bring you. But if you would like to comment about anything that we covered today, the phone number is 510-228-4640. And more ways to reach me. Here's Ariel.
First of all, I just want to thank everyone for joining us here on this show. This is great.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.